So I thought I would make this video because Destined Rivals Pokemon Center Elite Trainer Boxes have recently been getting a lot of attention because they have skyrocketed. You can see here in the past month it's up 42.6%. In this video, I wanted to talk about how Pokemon investors should be careful investing into these PC ETBs as of right now. So for me, right, I usually am pretty bullish on buying. I don't really care about MSRP. You guys know that. But there are certain circumstances where I would, advise you guys to be careful buying at some price points. And especially when this product has gone up this much, this quickly, it is worth talking about. And just to give you guys some, logical and rational thinking here. So I know there's a common saying that some people like to say in this space, which I feel like in some cases it can be true, but there's a saying that goes, today's price is tomorrow's discount or something like that, right? And I feel like this is true for some things. I feel like for out of print product, for products that are older where things are consistently going up, I feel like that saying can be true. But for a product like this, and for a set this new, Destined Rivals, the PCTB, I feel like this saying isn't 100% true. But here's what I'm going to say. If you buy this right now at its current price point, at around $250, lowest listed $250 on eBay, maybe you're able to find it for a bit cheaper, I don't know. If you buy this and wait 2 years, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. But if you want to buy a larger amount, and you want to try to get the best deal, I would say it's probably worth waiting a bit. And there is some evidence to that, which is why I'm saying this, why it's worth waiting a bit. So this PC ETB, from my knowledge, and I mean just based on this growth rate we're seeing here, has not been restocked ever since being available for pre-orders. So that means it hasn't even been restocked once. And in my opinion, this set, Destined Rivals, it being pretty popular, out of all the PC ETBs that Pokemon is probably going to restock anytime soon here, I would assume Destined Rivals would probably be towards the top of that list. So I do truly believe there will be some sort of restock coming in the near future. I think that is going to happen, and we have evidence of that with Prismatic Evolutions, which I'm going to talk about here shortly. So if you're going to be buying on a 42.6% increase, when in my opinion, we're probably going to get a restock sometime soon here. I would guess maybe sometime this year, hopefully, right? I mean, the Prismatic PCTB restocks came, 4 months after being released? I think Destined Rivals now is a bit 2.5 months old now. I feel like in a month, 2 months, around there, maybe 3 months, we're going to see a restock of some sort. I would be shocked if they didn't, because they did that with Prismatic Evolutions, even more than one restock. In Destined Rivals being this expensive, the PC ETBs are now market price $260. If this doesn't get restocked for another month, I wouldn't be surprised if this gets closer to $300. And at that point, I feel like the PC ETBs may get restocked around a month or two, whenever maybe it would be close to $300 or maybe even above that. I do truly feel like these will probably get restocked, and I do think that buying at this point when we don't know exactly when the reprint's coming, or restock's coming, which I think it will happen, but buying after a 42% increase, yeah, you could maybe argue that possibly whatever restock or reprint comes with the PCTB, that it may not be enough to drop prices below this. But I'm going to show you guys the example with Prismatic Evolutions, and you guys can take this information for what you will. So at one point, these PC ETBs of Prismatic Evolutions, they were $350 at one point. They were. But what happened after they got restocked the first time? They dropped all the way down to about mid 230s. So it dropped from $330 all the way down to mid 230s. So it dropped about $100. And I was honestly like, wow, we got a restock of this? I never knew it was going to even be this, or even happen, because it was, taking so long. But it happened. Price had dropped $100. So that is about a third, so a 33% drop. And yeah, they dropped, and I was like, you know what, buy on this restock. I did myself. I bought a decently large amount. I told you guys you probably should do the same, because we don't know if we're gonna get another restock or whatever. And lo and behold, look at this time frame, May to June, so about a month after that, we get another restock, guys. A second restock of Prismatic PC ETBs. And this time I was like, okay, if you did not buy from the first restock, there's no way that you guys should really be holding off on this second one, because the chance we get a third restock to me is pretty low, because I don't know if you've ever seen that. And these dropped actually on the second time a little bit lower. You could have got them for about $15 cheaper than the first restock, but they did get restocked twice. Now, I'm not saying Destined Rivals PCTBs are going to get restocked twice, but just using Prismatic Evolutions as an example of a PCTB that did eventually get reprinted after like 4+ months, I truly believe Destined Rivals at some point here will probably get restocked. I don't know exactly when. Like I said, it's possible. Maybe when they get restocked, they don't drop below this price. It's possible, but buying after this huge, increase, and we honestly don't even know where this is going, because think about it. These are almost as expensive as the booster box. The booster box is $300 right now. This is at $250. I know it's a different product, but you do have to take that into consideration. Okay, the booster boxes are not like $350, $400. They're $300, which is $50 under the PCTB. So at that price point, thinking about it here, does it make sense for this PCTB to possibly be just as expensive or more expensive than the booster box? It's maybe, but that is, in my opinion, a pretty high price point to think for a main set, which is one thing to note here. This is a main set which has a booster box, which is a little bit, in my opinion, more scary possibly that this is this high already and you're buying at this increase. But it could also be argued that this is a specialty set. Maybe they reprint specialty set PC ETBs differently. I'm not sure, but we'll see what happens with this. But this PC ETB being this expensive already, I would have to make an educated guess that Pokemon will restock these at some point. And obviously, when they restock it, the big factor is how big is the restock. Now, when you look at other recent PC TVs, Surging Sparks, I believe, got restocked once. It may have got restocked twice. I do know that from this price movement down here, possibly this was maybe a restock. So this, I know this for sure got restocked at least once, but I don't know if it got restocked twice. But right now, it is $200, Surging Sparks, but it did get restocked. Journey Together, this is one of those sets that has not gotten restocked yet, which we'll see if it's going to be coming here soon for this PCTB. But honestly, they are above MSRP. They're like double MSRP. But you can see by the graph here, Journey Together, the PCTB is not really moving. But I will say, Journey Together, if you look at the booster boxes and regular ETBs in the past month, they've been moving up. So I don't know if this is next, the PCTB, but prices have been pretty stagnant around like 130. In Black Bolt White Flare, Black Bolt you can see here is at 180. White Flare is about at 160. Sort of the same thing I would say goes maybe towards Black Bolt and White Flare. Possibly you could say the same, that maybe they're going to get restocked maybe once or twice like Prismatic did. But the big thing I wanted to talk about here was Destined Rivals, because this is the most recent one that skyrocketed up. And buying from this price point, like I said, if you're going to hold long term when this goes out of print, buying at $250 won't be the worst thing ever. I mean, we've seen PCTBs like Obsidian Flames, Paldea Evolved go into the 400s. So buying at $250 then wouldn't be the worst thing ever. But just buying from this increase when we've not seen a single restock yet, to me, is a little bit more risky. You are playing that game because if this was like 180 and you were buying that price point, I would say then, I may have even said in some videos, it's not a bad purchase price, but we just haven't seen a restock yet. And to buy from this increase, I think you're setting yourself up for a bit more risk than is really needed, when most likely this will get reprinted or restocked. And I'm not saying 100% it's happening, but I'm saying realistically, looking at what happened to Prismatic and how expensive it got, and they restocked it twice, I would have to assume Destined Rivals will probably get some priority to get restocked, because it is pretty expensive already. So that's all I want to talk about here. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.